What if admitting you're gay to your soccer team meant risking everything you hold dear? Vincent stared at the blinking cursor on his laptop screen in his downtown Los Angeles apartment, the city lights flickering through the window like distant stadium floodlights. His hands trembled as he read the words he had rewritten a dozen times that night. The letter was addressed to every member of the Los Angeles Thunder, the professional soccer team he had captained for 3 seasons. To my brothers on the field, it began. I've carried this secret for too long, and it's time I stop hiding who I am. I'm gay. I've known it since college, but fear kept me silent. The game, the locker room, the expectations, they all made it feel impossible. But I can't live like this anymore. I hope you can still see me as the captain who fights beside you every match. He paused, remembering the first time the weight had pressed down on him. Growing up in a small town outside Chicago, Vincent had learned early that boys like him didn't talk about feelings for other boys. His father, a former high school coach, drilled toughness into him with endless drills and lectures about being a man. Soccer became his escape, then his identity. At the University of California, he met Nathan during freshman tryouts. Nathan, with his easy laugh, messy blonde hair, and quick feet on the wing, had become Vincent's closest friend almost instantly. They roomed together, trained together, celebrated victories together. Vincent never told him the truth, that every late-night talk, every shoulder bump on the field, stirred something deeper he buried under layers of denial. Now, at 28, Vincent was at the peak of his career. Sponsors loved his clean image, the media called him the heart of the Thunder, and the fans chanted his name in the stands. But inside, the secret was cracking him apart. He thought about the nights he lay awake, scrolling through old photos of Nathan from their college days, wondering what life would feel like without the fear. Last week, after a brutal loss to Seattle, the team had gathered for beers. One teammate joked about a new dating app for straight guys, and Vincent forced a laugh that tasted like ash. That was the moment he decided. The letter wasn't just words. It was his declaration of war on the silence that had defined him. He hit send on the team group chat at 2:17 a.m., then closed the laptop and paced the room. His phone stayed silent for what felt like hours. When the first reply came from the coach, "We need to talk, son. Tomorrow morning, my office," Vincent's stomach dropped. He knew the risks. Contracts had clauses about public image. Teammates might pull away. The media would dig. But the alternative was a life half-lived. He thought of Nathan again, the way his friend had always had his back on the pitch, covering for missed passes, celebrating goals like they were shared. Would that change? Vincent didn't know, but the question burned hotter than any match he'd ever played. The next morning, the locker room felt smaller than usual. Vincent arrived early, uniform folded neatly in his bag, heart hammering. The team trickled in, some nodding at him as if nothing had happened, others avoiding eye contact. Nathan walked in last, dropping his bag beside Vincent's locker with his usual grin. "Rough night, Cap? You look like you didn't sleep." Vincent managed a weak smile. "Something like that." Before he could say more, the coach called everyone to the center circle painted on the floor. "All right, men. Vincent sent something important last night. We're going to address it now, no judgment, just honesty." The air thickened. Vincent stood tall, forcing his voice steady. "I meant every word. I'm not asking for special treatment. I just want to stop pretending." The room stayed quiet longer than he expected. Then, slowly, a few nods. But Vincent saw the flicker of confusion in some eyes, the way one defender crossed his arms tighter. The secret was out, and the real test had just begun. As the meeting broke, Nathan lingered, clapping Vincent on the shoulder. "Whatever happens, I'm here. Always." Those words carried Vincent through the day, but he wondered how long they would hold when the rest of the world found out. The afternoon training session felt like walking through fog. Vincent pushed harder than usual, sprinting drills until his legs burned, trying to prove to himself and everyone else that nothing had changed on the field. The ball still responded to his touch, the passes still connected. But in the huddles, the energy was different, subtle glances, questions unspoken. By the time they hit the showers, the first real conversation started. One midfielder, Marcus, pulled Vincent aside near the equipment room. "Look, man, I respect the courage. My cousin came out a few years back. Took the family time to adjust, but we're good now." Vincent nodded, grateful for the anchor in the storm. Yet not everyone was ready. Late in the session, the veteran striker Derek had muttered loud enough for half the team to hear. "Just hope this doesn't mess with team chemistry. We got playoffs coming." The words stung like a bad tackle. Vincent kept his head down, but inside the doubt roared. Was this the beginning of the fracture he feared? That night, back in his apartment, the media alerts started pinging. Someone had leaked the letter, probably a screenshot from the group chat. Headlines screamed, "Thunder Captain Vincent Hale drops bombshell letter. Is the locker room ready?" Vincent turned off his phone and stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment with Nathan from college. The time they drove cross-country after finals, windows down, singing off-key. The way Nathan had hugged him after Vincent's father passed away 2 years ago, holding on a second longer than usual. Those memories now felt like landmines. The next day brought the team meeting the coach had promised. They sat in the conference room overlooking the practice field, sunlight streaming in like it was any ordinary day. Coach Ramirez laid it out straight. "This is Vincent's truth. Our job is to support our captain the same way he supports us on the pitch. Anyone has issues, bring them to me privately. No drama in the locker room." Murmurs rippled, but the vote of confidence steadied Vincent. Then Nathan spoke up, voice calm but firm. "I've known Vincent longer than most of you. He's the same guy who led us to the cup last year. If anyone has a problem with who he loves, they got a problem with me too." The room shifted. A few claps followed. Derek even nodded reluctantly, though his eyes still held questions. After practice, Nathan and Vincent grabbed coffee at their usual spot near the stadium. Nathan leaned across the table, blue eyes serious. "You should have told me sooner, man. Not that it changes anything between us." Vincent swallowed. The words he wanted to say, about the feelings he'd hidden even from his best friend, stuck in his throat. Instead, he said, "I was scared of losing the one person who always had my back." Nathan smiled, the kind that reached his eyes. "You're not losing me. Ever." They talked for hours, about old games, family pressures, the weight of expectations. Vincent felt lighter for the first time in years, but he knew the real battles were just starting. His father had left a voicemail earlier. "Call me. We need to talk about this letter." The family confrontation loomed, and Vincent wondered if the support from his team would be enough when home turned hostile. By evening, more messages flooded in from teammates. Some shared their own stories of brothers or friends who were gay. Others simply said, "Proud of you, Cap." The tide was turning, but Vincent sensed the undercurrent of doubt still swirling. One misunderstanding had already surfaced. Derek had asked if Vincent had ever checked out the team in the showers. Vincent shut that down firmly, explaining it wasn't like that. The conversation cleared the air, but it left scars. As he drove home, the city lights blurring, Vincent realized the letter hadn't just revealed his secret. It had forced everyone, including himself, to grow. The week blurred into a haze of practices, press conferences, and quiet moments of reflection. The media storm hit harder than expected. Cameras waited outside the training facility, reporters shouting questions about the gay captain and whether it affected performance. Vincent handled each interview with measured honesty, focusing on the game rather than the gossip. "My sexuality doesn't change how I play," he repeated. Inside, though, the scrutiny chipped at his confidence. He found himself second-guessing passes he once made instinctively. The team responded in their own way. During a closed-door session, they circled up and shared personal stories. Marcus talked about his cousin's struggles. Another player admitted his own brother had come out years ago, and it strengthened their bond. Even Derek opened up reluctantly about a friend from high school he had lost touch with after the friend came out. "I was an idiot back then," he said. "Won't make that mistake again." The honesty built bridges Vincent hadn't known were possible. Yet misunderstandings lingered. One afternoon, a younger player pulled Vincent aside, worried that the media attention would hurt sponsorships. "We're a family," Vincent reassured him. "We fight together." Nathan became Vincent's anchor through it all. They trained extra hours together, refining plays under the lights. One evening after a long session, they sat on the empty bleachers, the stadium quiet around them. Nathan opened up about his own life, how his conservative family in Texas had pressured him into manly sports, how he'd always admired Vincent's quiet strength. Seeing you do this makes me rethink a lot of things I kept buried, Nathan said softly. Vincent's heart skipped. Was there more behind those words? He didn't push, but the possibility warmed him like the setting sun. Then the family call came. Vincent's mother answered first, voice shaky. We saw the news, honey. Your father. He's struggling. When his dad got on the line, the disappointment was raw. I raised you to be strong, to lead men. It feels like you gave up the fight. Vincent listened, tears stinging his eyes, but he stood his ground. Dad, this is me being strong. Hiding was the real weakness. The call ended tense, but Vincent felt the first crack in the wall between them. That night, alone, he replayed childhood memories, the backyard games where his father taught him to never quit. The irony hit hard. The lesson had come full circle. Back with the team, a small betrayal tested them. A local blog twisted a teammate's offhand comment into locker room tension. The squad rallied, issuing a joint statement of support. Vincent is our captain. End of story. The unity surprised even Vincent. As they prepared for an upcoming away game against Portland, the energy shifted from shock to determination. Nathan pulled him aside before boarding the bus. Whatever comes next, we face it together. In that moment, Vincent realized the letter hadn't destroyed anything. It had revealed what was already there, a team ready to stand taller. The Portland match became a turning point no one expected. The stadium roared with mixed cheers and boos as the team took the field. Vincent felt every eye on him, but he channeled it into focus. Nathan played beside him with fierce energy, covering gaps, feeding perfect passes. In the 67th minute, Vincent took a cross from Nathan and buried it in the net. The team piled on him in celebration, arms around shoulders, no hesitation. The final whistle blew on a 2-1 win, and for the first time since the letter, Vincent felt truly free on the pitch. Back in the hotel, the real conversations deepened. Derek approached Vincent privately. I was wrong to doubt you, Cap. Saw how you played today. Respect. They shook hands, the misunderstanding fully buried. Vincent shared stories of his early fears, the nights he drove alone to clear his head after realizing his feelings for men weren't going away. The team listened, some sharing their own vulnerabilities, failed relationships, family expectations, the pressure to perform perfectly. The bonds tightened in ways stats never measured. Nathan and Vincent stayed up late in the hotel lounge. Nathan confessed something that shifted everything. That time in college when you dated that girl briefly, I was jealous. Told myself it was just friendship, but it was more. Vincent's breath caught. The words hung between them, honest and tender. I feel the same, Vincent admitted quietly. Always have. No grand declarations, just the quiet understanding that their connection had always run deeper. They didn't rush. The moment was enough. Back home, Vincent's mother called again. Your father watched the game. He's proud of how you played. Says the rest. We'll work through it. Small steps, but progress. Yet a deeper crisis hit when an old college teammate leaked photos from years ago. Innocent shots of Vincent and Nathan at a party, arms around each other. Social media exploded with speculation. Vincent faced it head-on in a press conference. Those are memories of friendship. My truth is mine to share. The team stood behind him publicly, posting unified messages. Nathan's support never wavered. We're in this, he texted. The pressure forged Vincent stronger, teaching him that hiding had cost him years of peace. Family tensions eased further when his father sent a simple message. Call when you're ready. Love you. The words, though short, carried the weight of years. As the playoffs approached, Vincent reflected on the journey. The letter had forced choices, confronting fear, accepting support, embracing his identity. Misunderstandings had tested them, but each one led to growth. Nathan's presence became a steady light, their shared glances during training speaking volumes without words. The team wasn't just teammates anymore. They were brothers who chose understanding over judgment. Playoff preparations intensified the emotional undercurrents. Vincent led extra film sessions, breaking down opponents while weaving in team-building talks. We've faced tougher than headlines, he told them. The group responded with sharper focus and louder laughs in the locker room. Nathan's wing play synced perfectly with Vincent's vision, their chemistry on the field mirroring the quiet evolution off it. One evening after a tough scrimmage, they walked the empty field together. Nathan stopped under the lights. "I'm glad you wrote that letter. It gave me courage to see my own feelings clearly." Their hands brushed briefly, a small, meaningful gesture that said everything. Family healing progressed slowly. Vincent visited his mother in Chicago during a bye week. His father joined for dinner, awkward at first, but opening up about his own regrets from coaching days. "I pushed too hard because I didn't know how to handle anything different. But seeing you lead that team, it taught me." Tears were shared, hugs exchanged. Vincent left feeling lighter, the internal conflict that had defined his youth finally loosening its grip. The team faced one last internal hurdle when a sponsor pulled funding over the image issue. The coach gathered them. "This is bigger than money. We're playing for each other." Vincent's response rallied them. "We've already won by standing together." The decision to reject the sponsor's terms unified them further. Nathan organized a team dinner where stories flowed freely, laughs about past crushes, honest talks about identity. Vincent realized the journey wasn't just his. It belonged to all of them now. As the semifinal against New York loomed, Vincent felt transformed. The boy who once hid in silence had become a man leading with authenticity. Nathan's steady presence reminded him daily that love, real, quiet love, didn't need spotlights. The night before the game, the team shared a circle of trust. "No matter the score," Vincent said, "we leave here stronger." The words echoed the growth from that first letter. The semifinal night arrived under blazing lights in a packed stadium. Vincent led the Thunder onto the field, the roar mixing cheers and lingering doubts from the crowd. From the opening whistle, the team played with purpose. Nathan delivered pinpoint crosses, Vincent orchestrated from midfield. In the 82nd minute, with the score tied, Vincent took a loose ball, dribbled past two defenders, and slotted it home. The team erupted, piling on him in pure joy. They held the lead and advanced to the final. In the locker room after, the celebration was emotional. Teammates hugged Vincent, voices thick with pride. "You did it, Cap." Derek clapped him on the back. "Couldn't be prouder." The media swarmed, but Vincent kept the focus on the collective. "This win is for every one of us who chose to stand together." Back in Los Angeles, life settled into a new rhythm. Vincent and Nathan shared quiet evenings, their connection deepening naturally. Walks along the beach, talks about the future. No rush, just honest presence. Vincent's father called regularly now, asking about games and life. The family wounds were healing, replaced by understanding. The championship final brought everything full circle. Vincent lifted the trophy amid fireworks, the team chanting his name. In the victory speech, he spoke simply. "To my brothers, thank you for seeing me." Nathan stood beside him, smile wide. The journey from that lonely letter to this moment proved that vulnerability built the strongest bonds. Years later, Vincent would look back and know the risk had been worth every step. In reflecting on this story, I see how one act of courage can ripple outward, turning fear into connection and isolation into community. Vincent's path shows that hiding who you are costs more than any spotlight ever could, while honesty invites the support we often underestimate. The real lesson isn't about grand gestures, but everyday choices. To listen without judgment, to stand beside those we care about, and to embrace our truths so others feel safe doing the same. True brotherhood and love grows in the space where we stop pretending,